25th day of the month 2025 it is. Good afternoon and a warm welcome. This is KBC Lunchtime News, and before we begin, just a quick reminder that Chan iko KBC, and despite the fact that the Pamoja tournament hosting country Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania have already been eliminated, we are in the penultimate level where we are in the semi-finals. Four countries remain, 2 matches tomorrow. That is Senegal, Sudan, Madagascar and Morocco. Away from that, time for a comprehensive look at what has been shaping up the news conversation in the country at this moment and beyond. My name is Bentro Njue, and Anne Wangeshi is the beautiful lady on the bottom of your screen handling the sign language interpretation. Straight to the news. We begin with Katiba Day, where President William Ruto has proclaimed August the 27th as Katiba Day in commemoration of the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution. Though the day has not been declared a public holiday, it will be observed every year and will feature civic activities across the country. President Ruto said Katiba Day will serve as a reminder of the sovereign will of the Kenyan people, who on August the 27th, 2010, ushered in a new era of constitutionalism, devolution, citizen-centered governance and protection of fundamental rights and freedoms. The president noted that the 15th anniversary of the Constitution's promulgation, set for August the 27th, 2025, presents an opportunity to celebrate what he described as one of the most transformative and progressive constitutions in human history. In other news, Deputy Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli has vowed a crackdown on criminal gangs operating in Trans Nzoia County, saying several suspects have already been arrested. Speaking at Naisambu Seventh-day Adventist Church in Kitale during a fundraising event to support construction of the Western Kenya Conference headquarters, the DIG called on churches and community leaders to join hands with security agencies to curb society vices, stressing that empowering local communities and supporting livelihood are essential to long-term crime prevention.
I urge each and everyone to remember that in the beginning God, for everything is God. To start with is God, and God is love. And because of that love, love is giving. You need to give. And many things fail because of love. Either you fail to give a hearing, you fail to give something that is needed by so and so, you fail to give financial assistance.
The Ministry of Education has reassured parents and learners that the government has prioritized the timely release of capitation funds to over 45,000 schools nationwide. Education Principal Secretary Ambassador Professor Julius Bitok has revealed that National Treasury will be disbursing capitation funds to the schools before the end of this week. Bitok has further revealed that the government is constructing 1,600 science laboratories across the country to support learners choosing the STEM pathway under the new education system. The ministry expects 1.2 million learners to transition from junior to senior school next year, with schools now categorized into the 4 clusters to ease placement. The PS spoke during the opening ceremony of the 2025 Working to Advance Science and Technology Education for African Women STEM Summit, a continental gathering bringing together female university students pursuing science, technology, engineering and mathematics at a semester in Nairobi.
Out of the 3 pathways, STEM, Arts and Social Sciences and Sports, we are saying we are encouraging 60% of our learners to go STEM way. And the government is investing heavily, including the construction of 1,600 labs around the country, so that all students who choose STEM at least have a lab in their school. We have already engaged the National Treasury, and we are expecting that before the end of the week, money for capitation will have been sent to our schools. We had a meeting last week with the officials from National Treasury, led by the Minister himself and the PS, and we agreed that the top priority for the government of Kenya this week is to release capitation to our 45,000 schools around the country.
Now to the coastal county of Kilifi, where members of a juvenile gang terrorizing residents of Malindi town in Kilifi County have been arrested in a security operation that was conducted by local security apparatus. This follows outcries from members of the public following attacks by the gang, mostly at night. The criminal activities have also paralyzed business activities in the area. Among the weapons recovered from the gangs are machetes, knives and rungus, with the machetes bearing blood stains, probably from victims. More than 200 members of various gangs have been arrested since the beginning of the month and taken to court. Police from Kikuyu Sub-County Police Headquarters have launched investigations into the suspected murder case where the body of a middle-aged man was found beside his vehicle in Muthaiga area along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway in the early morning hours. Confirming the incident, the Kikuyu Sub-County Criminal Investigations Officer Omondi Ogola said scene of the crime was disturbed by the confrontation and that they will use all means to unearth the perpetrators of the heinous act and bring them to justice. He further urged residents who might have witnessed the incident to step forward and provide information. The body of the deceased is now at the Thokoto mortuary awaiting post-mortem, while his vehicle was taken to the Kikuyu police station for further investigations.
Today morning at around 07:30 hours, we received communication from the area assistant chief called that there was a person who was lying here and it looked like the person had been murdered. The police officers from Kino and the DCI Kiambu rushed to the scene. We have processed the scene and we have taken up the investigation.
Kiza nimeona asubuhi, nimetoka kwa nyumba saa mwendo wa saa 2 nikiingia kazini, wanavuka hapa hivi nimepata huyu jamaa amelala hapa na ni kama amedungwa kisu hapa mahali, amefunikwa sweta, amedungwa kisu mbaya sana. Hiyo ndio inaonekana imemmaliza.
In other news, members of Mailua Group Ranch in Kajiado County have issued a stern warning to political leaders and government officials, accusing them of interfering with the ranch's affairs. The agitated members allege that portions of land set aside for agricultural use after subdivision are now being targeted by powerful individuals and local cartels seeking to fraudulently acquire the property through unorthodox means. According to the ranch members, most of whom are elderly and vulnerable, such schemes risk disinheriting genuine beneficiaries and sparking tensions within the community. They are now calling on the government agencies, including the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Ministry of Lands, to move swiftly and investigate the alleged irregular dealings, warning that failure to act could plunge the area into social unrest and undermine peace in Kajiado.
Hii ni shamba hilo amekubaliwa na Mwenyezi Mungu tukue ndani, sababu sisi amesaliwa katika hii shamba.
Hii ni agricultural land ya watu wa Mailwa. Na hatutakubali kabisa. Kwa hivyo huyu mtu amekuwa ni mkora. EACC, kwani mko wapi? Hamwezi wakoa watoto wa Mailwa, watoto wa Kajiado County.
Na tunatangaza mtu yeyote ambaye ataingiza Mailwa katika Kajiado County kufanya wizi, ukiwa mfanyakazi, ukiwa kiongozi, ukiwa nini, tutahakikisha sasa tutafuata na tutahakikisha kila kitu imerudi.
From Kajiado, we are back here in Nairobi, and we are crossing over to the Kempinski Hotel, where there's the opening ceremony of the launch of the African Broadband Mapping Systems, that is Africa BB Maps for Kenya. And I can see currently addressing is PS Stephen Isaboke. Let's first of all listen in.
From the old 3G, 2G type, where you just were doing very basic communication, to a data-enabled communication, which in fact is what broadband is actually here to enable. And our national digital master plan, for Kenya, and bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which in fact is what His Excellency the President of the Republic has actually been fronting, are very clear on the place of broadband, empowering our economy and our intention to achieve that goal. As a regional leader in ICT, Kenya has firmly positioned itself on the path towards a digital future with ambitions on broadband penetration by 2030, prioritizing unserved and underserved communities that have historically been left behind in terms of digital connectivity. This commitment reflects a broader vision to harness technology to transform our lives and drive inclusion and national development. And I think DG spoke to the 1,450 digital hubs that, in fact, the current government is actually implementing across the country, working, of course, with a multi-agency team, with the ICT board, the CA, the Kenya Power and Lighting team, all of them actually working in sort of a close coordination to ensure that we deliver that vision of a connected Kenya. By developing a harmonized, validated, and publicly accessible broadband maps, we shall actually be able to make informed decisions that optimize infrastructure investments and policy interventions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's actually gratifying to note that one of the remarkable aspects of Africa's PP Maps project is actually the holistic and inclusive design, which integrates broadband data with related sectors such as energy, and I've mentioned Kenya Power Lighting, transport, and someone was talking about all these cameras, speed cameras we see on the highways, healthcare, such as our primary healthcare or universal healthcare that we are actually very busy implementing, education, and urban planning. I see this integrated approach as a central to the formulation of evidence-based policies, recognizing broadband's role as a key driver of a multi-sectoral development. Open data, which the ambassador spoke to, open data access and adoption of international standards further enhance transparency and encourage collaboration across government agencies, regulators, private sector players, civil society, and development partners. And as many of you will know, Kenya adopted a very, very robust, very liberal approach to our ICT sector, starting with breaking down things like tax that we're actually making ICT infrastructure affordable, to pioneering digital migration, and obviously leading into the current space now in this broadband mapping, and the rest of the other very progressive things, including actually freedom of media, which is probably as best as can be anywhere in the world, from EU to the US and everywhere. So I'm extremely excited or delighted to note that the recognition of Kenya as one of the advanced countries in broadband policy and infrastructure mapping amongst 11 participating nations. This recognition is a testament to our significant progress in developing broadband infrastructure and strategic planning, which, as I said, has actually really come over time. If you look at since just pre-digital migration days, when the entire country was analog, you could hardly send an email, to now a very robust, very, very robust connected country, obviously, which will be enhanced with this mapping, which the ambassador actually said you could compare with the very best with Australia, with Belgium, and all these EU countries that she called out. As already acknowledged by the DG, we are deliberate in our efforts to address the identified gaps in our broadband ecosystem, specifically in data collection, verification, and regulatory monitoring. It goes without saying that efficient and accurate data collection is critical to maintaining an up-to-date broadband map that truly reflects the realities of our ecosystem. At the same time, regulatory monitoring supported by effective legal frameworks that mandate data submission and quality of service standards.
Indeed, that has been PS Stephen Isaboke, the PS for broadcasting there at the Africa Broadband Mapping Systems. Now, Africa BB is a map system, or is a continental initiative which seeks to transform broadband sector connectivity across 11 sub-Saharan countries, Kenya included, and this is the launch of that ceremony at the Villarosa Kempinski. But what the PS has been able to note is that it will mark a significant milestone when it comes to various sectors in the ecosystem, in the broadband ecosystem, that including health, infrastructure, and others. More of that, my colleague Trevor Ngendo is on that bit and will be bringing us a more loaded account in regards to that function. Very well, at about 14 minutes past the top of the hour, we are due for a fast break. But when we come back, we still have more news and also business, not forgetting sports.
They're knocking at the door. They're hammering at the gates. They're battering at the fences. The Cranes are baying for that goal, and Senegal are holding fort.
Back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship 2024, right here on home soil.
Mimi hutumia mbolea inayoitwa Elgon Dhabiti DAP kwa upanzi wa mimea yenye afya bora. Halafu natumia mbolea ya Dhabiti CAN ama Dhabiti Urea kwa ukuaji wa mimea bora. Hii imenisaidia kupata mavuno mengi nikilinganisha na siku za hapo mbeleni.
Mbolea ya Elgon Dhabiti inapatikana kwa viwango vya kilo 10, 25 na kilo 50 kote nchini. Elgon Kenya Limited.
Magharibi mwa Kenya. Maisha ya familia moja maskini yanaelea kwenye ukingo wa taabu.
Umetoa wapi hizi pesa?
Dadi, umeiba.
Mwizi! Wewe ndio mwizi, unaiba mbuzi wangu.
Baba ni mlevi, ameitelekeza familia yake na inayumba.
Leo mimi sijalewa na bado una raha.
Andrew, adui mkubwa wa familia hii, anaichukia.
Nini mnapigania? Shamba.
Toka mbele yangu wewe.
Wote pesa zetu bwana.
Hauogopi Mungu, hauogopi shetani.
Congratulations Jina.
Nyamaza, wote kwa daktari anadanganya.
Kwa Josh, kilichosalia ni mzigo mkubwa zaidi kielimu kama atafaulu kujiunga na chuo na kimaisha. Je, atatoboa?
Welcome back to Lunchtime News, and many thanks indeed for keeping me company. Stakeholders in the agribusiness sector have unanimously agreed to push for stronger partnership and actionable strategies that will translate into real job opportunities for young people in the sector. The group, led by Moses Ndura, explored strategies that will strengthen policy at both county and national government levels to increase uptake of youths in the sector into the job market. Stakeholders were speaking during a 3-day national policy convening on youth employment in agriculture and agro-processing in Naivasha.
I've been able to engage at higher levels and be able to also explain to youth that their voices, if engaged in a very structured forums that their voices can be involved and uptaken to these policy framework issues.
The partnership we had with KABI and all the policy makers show that when you bring all the stakeholders into a house, you create an environment for an open dialogue around opportunities, challenges, vision. It is possible to identify solutions that can be replicated and amplified across the continent.
We should be working out on policies that are able to ensure that capital that is essential for production is in the hands of the young people. For the young people not just to engage in agriculture as the workers and servants, but to engage as the real agripreneurs and the people who will make money in this.
A women's lobby group has urged the government to strengthen child protection systems and revise laws to protect vulnerable women against exploitation. This follows a recent media exposure that showed children being involved in sex work. They further say they have formed associations across the country to sensitize members and discourage child sex. They have, however, faulted the government for ignoring their calls and recommendations and recommended swift prosecution of individuals and networks behind child exploitation.
Wakati tulikuwa tumepeleka hii research kwa ethical body, kwa sababu hii ni ethically approved research. Tukipeleka kwa ethical body, walituuliza maswali ya kuhusu watoto ambao wanakuwa exploited kwa kazi yetu, na kama tunaweza kufanya research yake. Partners wengi ambao tunafanya nao kazi walisema hawezi support hiyo kazi, lakini sisi tukasema kama movement tutafanya. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu tungependa kuonyesha watu ama Wakenya na kila mtu ya kwamba sisi tunafanya hii kazi kwa kujitolea, kwa sababu sisi ni watu wazima. Tunakataa nini? Exploitation of children. Hiyo sisi tumekataa na tukubaliani nayo kama movement.
Moving on, the Orthodox Church in Kenya will invest in training Sunday school teachers as part of its plan to help shape a young faithful in the church deal with their spiritual future. Archbishop Andreas Makarios, who commissioned the training of a number of teachers in Dagoretti area of Nairobi, who will serve in the church, said there was a need to help mentor young churchgoers not only on their spiritual nourishment, but also on how to deal with life challenges when they finally grow up. The trained teachers will be posted across the church establishment in the country.
We are so happy today that we are giving to our society here where we are, in Waidaka. Yes, a number of good teachers and sub-deacons who really are dedicated to serve Jesus and the Holy Catholic and Apostolic faith.
Sending us out to the world in terms of just being on mission to educate the children and just help them know what God wants of them from the tender age of 3. For us, we have different clusters of children from as little as 9 months.
Switching gears to matters politics, a Democratic Party leader, that is DP, Justin Muturi, has ruled out any possibility of entering into a coalition agreement with any other political party in the country. Speaking during the opening of a new National Independent Church of Kenya in Kaunjira, Imenti, north of Meru County, Muturi said the recent coalition agreements in the country have only served personal interest at the expense of the nation.
Now, one of the things which we stand for is accountability, stability. Remember, our slogan is haki na umoja.
Let's now tilt the lens and focus on matters youth empowerment. Young entrepreneurs and small business owners from Kiambu County have received vital training equipping them with the skills to grow their ventures and reduce reliance on government jobs. The program, spearheaded by a non-governmental organization 20X, brought together traders from farming, retail and service sector in Thika Town, giving them practical knowledge on business management, market access and income growth. Speaking during the event, 20X CEO Eunice Mboro emphasized the need for a mindset shift among youth, urging them to focus on creating jobs rather than seeking employment. The call resonated strongly with many of the beneficiaries who termed the training as a turning point in their entrepreneurial journey. Take a look.
One of the ways to do that is to learn to use yes and. Instead of complaining or instead of, criticizing other people's ideas, you could just say yes and you add your idea to it.
Hii masomo hatujawahi pata hapa Thika, lakini ni kumaanisha wabiashara wengi ambao wamekuja hapa. Tumesoma mambo mengi sana venye tunaweza jiinua bila kulalamika.
Sasa nitaenda kwa social media, nitangaze kazi yangu, kama ni turmeric, kama ni hizi vitu kama turmeric nimejua vile nitapanua kazi yangu. Nitaanza kuuza in powder form even, na niambie watu kujeni na nipeleke kwa YouTube.
Tuwe na kitu tunaita nidhamu, sababu kitu moja muhimu tumeona kuna tabia inaweza kufanya hata mtu akose kufaulu kwa mambo ile anafanya. Mtu anaweza kuwa na tabia ambayo si mzuri, na tabia hiyo inaweza kukosa saa nyingine hata kama uko na business ukose customers.
A noble cause for the youth. Away from that, we are now crossing over right here in Nairobi, where the Nairobi Regional Police Commander George Seda is currently addressing the press in regards to juvenile gangs that have sprung up in some of the estates here in Nairobi. Let's listen in.
Our stand as a national police who are here dealing with the public on daily basis, against using other orthodox means in terms of executing their purposes. Goons, vigilantism, all those are outlawed in law. And as a stand, with the staff we have and the briefing we have, we are not going to relent. Once there is any intending or other using the goons, we are coming for them. We are going to victimize you for the crimes that you have committed, hiring those goons to do the other things which are orthodox to the persons who is purported to be innocent. So goonism, we are not allowing at all. We have got enough of the security.
Okay, so far, how many people now have you arrested?
In relation to this one, there's only one. I know once they have committed crimes, they run away. But you run away, but you will not be running away from law. We know we have got various methods of getting them.
So when now is it going to be ready to vote?
The processing were being done today. I was with my team here. I think they're in the final stages. Once they're done, we'll go to court.
Okay, generally, what appeal are you making to the members of the public?
The members of the public within this city, enjoy your safety. We are here to provide that is enough for you. Let's continue teaming up together as to ensure to share the information that is relevant in ensuring that everything that is nasty within this city, we bring them to book with a view of trying to exercise full force of the law. And full force of the law is basically about the policing, the way we have been having it. Goonism, any other aspect of crime, we're not entertaining. We want just this city to be the way it is now. Let's really react. We have got a lot of officers on the ground. Let's share up with them. And that is what I'm also telling our officers together. Let's team up with the members of the society so that we get the best that is going to make this city to be the city we'd want to be.
In connection with the return of former DP regarding Gachagua, where goons track people, injuring people and also equipment, including media. Have you arrested anyone in connection with that?
Yeah, that one there is information which was reported, and the person who attacked the media especially, arrest has been made. The other aspect, policing takes on course.
It has been the Nairobi Regional Police Commander, that is George Seda. They are flanked by security agencies behind him. They are addressing the country in regards to juvenile gangs that have sprung up in some estates here in Nairobi. But in a nutshell, he has mentioned that the goons and vigilantism will not be tolerated in the country. We've seen them crop up, especially when there are demonstrations. Else, we are warning that the goons will not have any position here in the Nairobi, not only in the estate. Also stressing that the members of public also, we have a cardinal duty to ensure that we share information with relevant authorities so as to rid the country of this new menace. More of that, my colleague Ibrahim Aidan is on that beat. Moving on, 13 years after the Riketa massacre in Tana Delta that left more than 100 people dead, leaders from Tana River County are renewing calls for the national government to compensate the victims and their families. The clashes between pastoralists and farmers in 2012 remain etched in Kenya's memory as one of the worst cases of ethnic violence outside the post-election crisis. Our reporter Aaron Marie with the details.
In Riketa village, silence hung heavy as resident mark 13 years since a dawn raid that forever changed their lives. 52 people, men, women, and children, were hacked to death or burned alive during an early morning attack on the 22nd August of 2012. The massacre was the worst in the history of Tana Delta. It sparked a cycle of violence between the Pokomo and Orma communities that left more than 100 people dead and over 13,000 displaced within 5 months.
Hiyo siku sijalala kwangu nyumbani. Nimelala kwa mamake bwanangu. Asubuhi mamake bwanangu akaniamsha nikaenda kwangu nyumbani. Kidogo tu nilipofika nyumbani ilikuwa kidogo tu nikasikia kwamba hao wahalifu wameshafika hapo. Ilikuwa mimi niko na mtoto mmoja nikaanza kukimbia. Nikaingia hapo kwenye misikiti ndio tukapata nafasi tukakaa.
A section of local leaders says the victim should not be forgotten and praised peace-building effort that have kept the area stable since the 2012 clashes.
Tunasema hawa watu wa Riketa, Kilelengwani, watu wa Kipao ambayo wamepoteza maisha kwa ajili ya jambo ya kisiasa, tunasema pia wafidiwe vile wamechukua ahadi.
Tana Delta violence, rooted in a long-standing disputes over grazing land and water, quickly escalated in 2012, leading to retaliatory attacks and large-scale displacement.
Kutokea hiyo mkasa itokee mpaka kufikia sasa, hali ya uwiano na maridhiano katika jamii zetu zimeweza kuimarika. Hatukuweza kupata mkasa kama huu ambao kwamba iliwahi tokea kupitia ushirikiano ya vitengo vya serikali na haswa jamii. As of now, tunashukuru Mungu, jamii wameweza kuelewa umuhimu ya kuishi na amani.
While peace now prevails, the scars remain, and so do calls for justice. Aaron Marie for Lunchtime News.
But we are Aaron, and from that report by Aaron, we are looking at the wording into the CDF debate. A section of lawmakers has faulted those calling for the scrapping of the Constituency Development Fund, the NGCDF, saying the move is not only misguided but a direct attack on grassroots development. The MPs who are speaking in Samburu County argued attempts to discredit or redirect the funds are politically driven and anti-development. They further said that while some county governments struggle to show impact due to poor management and misallocation, CDF has consistently delivered, especially in the education sector.
This education, if it is devolved, then we are finished. The elephant in the house is leadership at the county government level that will take cognizance of the central role that they are supposed to play, as opposed to just doing mediocre work of going to funerals. As at now, I would want to invite all and sundry to think and brainstorm objectively about this issue. Just as we expect President Ruto at the national level to see to it that our education sector is functioning nationally, I think we should also expect the governors to see to it that our health sector is working at the county level, education is established and is supported at the county level. Let us think about this thing critically.
We do apologize for that mix-up in regards to that, but allow me to retake that story again, where a section of lawmakers has faulted those calling for the scrapping of the Constituency Development Fund. Let's listen into that, where they are talking about the move not being very, very helpful. If it is scrapped, it's helping a lot in terms of the education sector. Allow me to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more news, including the latest from the world of sport. Chan Trophy was here today. I'll be telling you all about it.
Kenya's first double waterproof in paint.
Mohamed Abuja claims the man of the match accolades. One of the very few not playing for the big two. He represents Al Zamala.
Turns left, fires home. Kenya lead.
The ongoing Chan 2024 is intriguing.
Well, after the VR check, it's been ruled out. It's not a goal.
CAF's flagship tournament attracts over 1.4 billion TV audiences and 2.2 billion digital streams, making it one of the top 4 global football events.
Full time, and Kenya have done the unthinkable. They go undefeated through the group stages in the group of death.
To our esteemed sponsor and partner, numbers don't lie. To the 12th man in Kenya and globally, it is not boasting if you can back it up. We salute you. Let's keep doing it the way we know how. Live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Wagwan, my brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth way the vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday kata
simu, tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She said she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hadija ai, mani especially ukisonga.
Magharibi mwa Kenya. Maisha ya familia moja maskini yanaelea kwenye ukingo wa taabu.
Umetoa wapi hizi pesa?
Daddy umeiba.
Mwizi! Wewe ndio mwizi, unaiba mbuzi wangu.
Baba ni mlevi, ameitelekeza familia yake na inayumba.
Leo mimi sijalewa na bado una raha.
Andrew, adui mkubwa wa familia hii, anaichukia.
Nini mnapigania? Shamba. Toka mbele yangu wewe.
Pate pesa zetu bwana.
Hauogopi Mungu, hauogopi shetani.
Congratulations Dina.
Nyamaza, wanga kusema daktari anadanganya.
Kwa Josh, kilichosalia ni mzigo mkubwa zaidi kielimu kama atafaulu kujiunga na chuo na kimaisha. Je, atatoboa?
Welcome back to KBC Lunchtime News. Many thanks indeed for keeping us company. Allow us to recap the earlier story where MPs have come out strongly to defend the NGCDF, claiming it's a game changer, especially when it comes to matters education.
Dia watu wetu wa hapa Samburu na wafugaji wengi na marginalized counties. Najua kuna bill ambayo iko mbele ya bunge, iko sasa kuelekea Senate, na ikifika huko sisi tutakaa huko kama senators. Tutaangalia kwa sababu tunajua hiyo bill itasaidia watu wetu wote wa marginalized counties na hasa Samburu County.
Kwa sababu ile ambaye anasema CDF iondolewe irudi kwa county, sisi tumesema hatutakubaliana na yeye kwa sababu hiyo kazi ya CDF imeenda vizuri Kenya mzima, na sisi tuna support CDF iendelee kufanya kazi katika constituencies.
And we want to tell them that there is no need to try and say let's fight CDF for county to be there. The two can coexist. And without mentioning too many laws and who should do what and which arm of government should do what, laws are not cast on stones. Laws are there to serve the people. And people are not there to serve the law. It is the law which is there to serve the people. And we must make laws which are pro-people and progressive.
From the CDF debate to empowerment, where a local SACCO in Homa Bay County has disbursed a loan worth 1.1 million shillings and 20 motorcycles on credit to its members. This initiative aims to uplift the welfare and livelihoods of its members. According to East Kamagak Boda SACCO chairman Alex Ongoro, the organization is also planning to hold a major fundraising slated this September to raise funds that will support vulnerable children and youths to access education, provide empowerment to the community, and promote community development projects as well.
This time, we have more than 122 students who are vulnerable and cannot even join the universities and colleges. Some are dropped out in the secondary schools. So we came out with an idea of doing a contribution by next month, 11th. That is why we have requested our leaders and we proposed the guest of honor to be Dr. Raymond Omolo.
Tuna watoto wadima. Tuna watoto wenye wajiwezi
watoto wanaenda shule wanafukuzwa, hata uniform ya kufaa tu inashinda wazazi wenye wako maskini kununua. Sasa hiyo ndio tunawaomba wakuwe na roho ya mchunguvu, wakuja watusaidie kusaidia watoto waendelee na masomo.
Tunaomba viongozi wetu watusikie, wakuje pamoja watusaidie ili watoto wetu wawe na njia ya kuenda shule.
Elsewhere, the Institute of Human Resource Management is raising concern over the growing number of uncredited practitioners in Kenya's HR sector. Speaking after taking office for a second term, the institute's chairman, Philip Odero, said the institute is working with government agencies to weed out quacks from the profession. Odero noted that only 7,000 out of the more than 20,000 registered members are currently in active practice, urging the government to absorb more qualified professionals into the workforce.
We will be able to rally all the members who do not have licenses to practice within rule of law. But this is an initiative which all of us must be able to do. Let us encourage any HR professional outside there to be able to make a decision and a voice and encourage each other that this is our profession, we must be able to build it. That is the only way we can be able to ensure that we have the numbers which are required, and we can also be able to compete with other respected professional body within the Republic. That must be done, and we will be able to do it so that we have full members' involvement.
Very well, time to make sense of shillings and cents in business. Chinese property giant Evergrande's shares were taken off the Hong Kong stock market on Monday after more than a decade and a half of trading. It marks a grim milestone for what was once China's biggest real estate firm, with a stock market valuation of more than $50 billion. That was before its spectacular collapse under the weight of the huge debts that had powered its meteoric rise. Here are the details of this and other story making headlines from other parts of the world.
Just a few years ago, Evergrande Group was a shining example of China's economic miracle. Its founder and chairman Hu Kaiyan rose from humble beginnings in rural China to top the Forbes list of Asia's wealthiest people in 2017. His fortune has since plummeted from an estimated $45 billion in 2017 to less than $1 billion. His fall from grace as extraordinary as his company's. Liquidators are exploring whether they can recover cash from creditors from Hui's personal property. At the time of its collapse, Evergrande had some 1,300 projects under development in 280 cities across China. Meanwhile, Hollywood is inviting submissions of AI visual works to explore the transformative role of artificial intelligence in visual storytelling while envisioning a future where humans and AI thrive together. Hollywood is targeting to explore emotional connections between humans and AI beyond coding and envision a future where humanity and AI coexist and prosper together. New York Film Academy hopes to work with global partners to promote the development and governance of AI, resist misuse of the technology, narrow the digital divide, and ensure AI can serve the good of humanity. Finally, Kazakhstan plans to launch 9 renewable energy projects this year, including the first ever wind power plants equipped with battery storage systems. The country currently operates over 150 renewable energy facilities, which collectively account for about 7% of the country's total energy generation. One such facility in the Zanata's wind power plant with an installed capacity of 100 megawatts. The plant operates 40 wind turbines, each with a rating of 2.5 megawatts. The output can power the equivalent of 20 small towns and meets the daily electricity demand of both Ziblin and South Kazakhstan regions. The solar plant generated 388 million kilowatt hours of clean electricity last year, surpassing its annual energy production target. Sylvia Gatti for Lunchtime News.
Now, the government has kicked off the 2026-27 budget-making process. National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi says there is need to strengthen fiscal sustainability through reforms that promote inclusive growth and job creation by restoring manufacturing sector through interventions to reduce the cost of electricity and credit. Mbadi challenged government agencies to source some services from one another.
Guidance can you offer LDAs like ours to creatively secure funding for critical capital expenditures like technology upgrades, expansion that are essential to fulfilling our public mandates as a national broadcaster in the digital age?
Let's support government institutions. Even in terms of research, even in terms of consultancy, we have our universities. They can offer consultancy. Why do we go to these private firms? I know they are also there but please also use our university so that we can get funding to the university through own source generation of revenue. And we can support the broadcaster, our national broadcaster.
The African Nations Championship final on Saturday, former Kenyan international Victor Wanyama, ambassador for the Chan Pamoja tournament, has praised the excellent organization displayed by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania in the tournament so far. In an exclusive TV interview with KBC Channel 1 on Monday, Wanyama, who came with the Chan Trophy to be awarded to the champions on Saturday, described the competition as an excellent platform for young players in Africa, emphasizing the significant impact that the large number of fans had in propelling Harambee Stars to the quarterfinals. The tournament enters the last four stage tomorrow. Sudan will face Madagascar in the first semi-final at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Tanzania before Morocco and Senegal meet in the second semi at the Mandela National Stadium in Uganda. The winners of those two semi-final matches will meet in the final at the Kasarani Stadium on Saturday, where the losers will face off a day before in the third place playoff at the Mandela National Stadium in Uganda. KBC Channel 1 continues to televise those matches live. A beautiful trophy. Moving on, Liverpool head coach Arne Slot has hinted his team does not need another forward this summer as the club continues their pursuit for Alexander Isak. Liverpool head to the St. James's Park tonight to face Alexander Isak's Newcastle United in the second game of the 2025-26 season. Meanwhile, Manchester United were held to a 1-1 draw by Fulham at Craven Cottage, while Everton defeated Brighton Rovers to earn their first 3 points at the New Hill Dixon Stadium.
Smith Rowe netted Alex Iwobi's cross to earn them.
And that a report from the EPL takes us to the tail end of this broadcast. Remember, we'll be back with the goals, the sides, the sounds of all the matches I've told you about. Many thanks indeed for joining us. And on behalf of everyone who has made this broadcast a success, not forgetting my director up there, Mugo Kariuki, many thanks indeed for joining us. My name is Bentro Njue. Anne Wangeshi has been my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Don't forget to check out our social media spaces for this news plus much more. Sisahau Chan bado iko KBC.
From the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao Bora, Jukumu letu.
Meet the experts who empower you with competent skills at craft, certificate, and diploma level. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
Orvam turns left, fires home! Kenya lead!
The ongoing Chan 2024 is intriguing.
Well, after the VAR check, it's been ruled out. It's not a goal.
CAF's flagship tournament attracts over 1.4 billion TV audiences and 2.2 billion digital streams, making it one of the top 4 global football events.
Full time, and Kenya have done the unthinkable. They go undefeated through the group stages in the group of death.
To our esteemed sponsor and partner, numbers don't lie. To the 12th man in Kenya and globally, it is not boasting if you can back it up. We salute you. Let's keep doing it the way we know how. Live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.